I must confess that I actually quite enjoyed this movie, The Strangers Chapter 2, so I would recommend that you go and watch it in the theaters. I was worried, possibly like you as well, about all the negative reviews coming out for this movie and thus walked gingerly into the theater to watch The Strangers Chapter 2. To make matters worse, I hadn't watched the Chapter 1 in what is meant to be a trilogy. All that I knew about Chapter 1 based on a quick search before going into the theater for Chapter 2 was that there are 3 slasher killers who are masked. One is called the Scarecrow, the second one is called the Pin-Up Girl, and the third one is called the Dollface, presumably because of the kind of masks they wear. In Chapter 1, they end up killing Ryan, who is a fiancé of a girl called Maya, who is inflicted a nasty knife stab in her stomach. The Chapter 1 was released in 2024, and a year down the line in 2025, we are here with the Chapter 2. In the Chapter 2, Maya, played by Madeleine Pesch, is recovering in a hospital in the town of Venus, Oregon. The attack on Maya and the other killings, of course, is the buzz of the town, which we see in that charming classic American diner called Carol's Diner. Apparently, it is at the diner that our villains come to know that Maya has survived the attack of Chapter 1 and is recovering in the hospital. The sheriff and the policeman are shown to be dodgy to keep them out of the equation, and then the action begins when the masked Scarecrow villain attacks Maya in the hospital, and from then on, it is a cat and mouse game between the villains and Maya. Maya is on the run now with her wounds, first out of the hospital, then into a barn, then into a car, then into the woods, then into a house, and everywhere the villains, the Scarecrow, the Pin-Up Girl, and the Dollface keep coming at her. In the woods, even a wild boar attacks her. It's a miracle that she survives all this and even manages to down one of the 3 villains. I won't tell you which one. And as the remaining 2 villains mourn the downing of one of their partners, and as Maya survives and escapes, the movie declares the continuity in the Chapter 3, which is promised to be coming out soon. Now then, the plot is quite a make-believe, admittedly, with all these villains on the loose quite cozily in a small town of the modern world, and the survival of Maya almost looks like a miracle. But if you consider the story as a work of art, I was reasonably impressed with it. The movie keeps you on the edge throughout because Maya is constantly on the run and villains keep coming at her. The camera work is solid with nice close-ups, the creaking doors, the background music at the right times, the jump scares, and even the scenery in the wild where Maya makes a desperate attempt at survival against all odds. You do end up getting a feeling that you're watching a movie well made and not just a cheap attempt at something just put together for non-serious teenagers wanting to just get some kicks. I was with the movie all the time and never felt bored. On the contrary, I felt quite entertained throughout, and in the end came out with a feeling that it was money is worth, and I'm definitely intrigued about the Chapter 3. I will most certainly run to the theaters to watch it whenever it comes out. The movie actually raises a poignant issue as well. It starts with the message that around 1,670 people were murdered in America in 2023 by strangers, and that apparently all the victims were chosen at random. This puts in doubt the motivation of the killers. As was the case in Chapter 1, in Chapter 2 also, you keep questioning to yourself, why are these villains trying to kill Maya? In one of the interactions, Maya does ask this question to a guy who might be the villain, and in a chilling close-up, he asks Maya back, does there have to be a why? I mean, imagine a bunch of killers killing without any reason. That looks dark, wicked, and downright sick. Clearly, you don't want to be at the wrong end of the stick of such a psychopath. In what adds the intellectual gravity to the movie, The Strangers Chapter 2, instead of just making it a trash slasher film, the story does tell us about at least the Scarecrow and the Pin-Up Girl from their childhood, which justifies why they have become sick killers, with the Pin-Up Girl asking the classic punchline, dark, chilling question, is Tamara home? I think the additions of those childhood scenes makes The Strangers Chapter 2 classy and forces you to think about how the authorities and the society can deal with this strange, menacing threat to everybody in the world. Kudos to the director Rennie Harlin for adding these childhood scenes and shooting them in a classy fashion. Kudos also to the story writer Brian Bertino, who has crafted a nice scenario with a problem in the society that we might not be aware of, that we are grappling with. Madeleine Pesch, playing the role of Maya, really owns the movie. She has done brilliant acting, and you do end up believing that she has gone into the mode of survival instinct in an otherwise make believe plot. Her facial expressions in desperate situations really make you feel like she is really struggling to survive. She's clearly talented and reminded me of the young Brooke Shields. It would be interesting to see how her career progresses further. More power to her, and I wish her all the best. I'm really looking forward to the chapter 3 because it is now 1-all between villains and Maya. In the first chapter, the villains, Scarecrow, Pinup Girl, and Dollface got Maya's fiancé Ryan. In chapter 2, Maya has managed to down one of the villains, so chapter 3 would surely be a dogfight between the remaining two villains and Maya, and that would be an interesting and a thrilling watch. Also, from what I understood, chapter 2 explains a little bit about how Scarecrow and Pinup Girl became villains. Hopefully, the chapter 3 will tell something more about the Dollface. I'd say go and watch The Strangers Chapter 2 in the theaters and jump on the bandwagon, participating in this crazy journey of Maya versus the masked villains.